Ranked #1 in innovation 10 consecutive years, Arizona State University isn't just ahead of the curve. It's creating new paths to success. Learn from notable clinical and research faculty. Online, that's a degree better. Explore programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
This is your before and after story. Southeastern College can help you prepare for a secure and fulfilling career in the growing healthcare field. We offer a wide range of careers to choose from. So whether you want to be a medical assistant, medical billing and coding specialist, nurse, surgical technologist, or another healthcare career, we've got you covered. Become a vital part of a healthcare team and make a real difference. Southeastern College, your future is bright. Visit sec.edu to get started.
Hi, this is Mason here, and you listen to Coffee Kenobi.
There are 250 of us in the galley. Approximately 160 of us cook. 80 of us are cleaners, like dishwashers. And then we have a team of 15 that are strictly provisions. They work every day. They make sure that we don't run out of food.
That's what people expect. They like the adventures. Having a bowl of wine or having a cocktail, it's entertainment.
Passengers, may I have your attention, please? It is time to disembark.
This is Vanessa Marshall, Harrison Dula from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi.
Welcome to Coffee with Kenobi, your family-friendly, spoiler-free Star Wars podcast where intelligent conversation and a splash of humor bring fans together from across the galaxy. Whether you're a lifelong Jedi Master or just hopped off your first Star Cruiser, grab your cap and join us as we explore the mythology, philosophy, and wonder of a galaxy far, far away, one conversation at a time. Coffee with Kenobi is more than a podcast, it's a community. Together we celebrate the people, stories, and experiences that make Star Wars so special, creating a space where fans can come together and share their voices. I'm your host, Dan Zare, educator and Star Wars author. Thank you to the official travel partner of CWK, MEI Travel and MouseFan Travel. Check out coffeewithkenobi.com/MouseFanTravel for a no-cost, no-obligation quote and let them know Coffee with Kenobi and Dan Zare sent you. We've got a great show for you today. Christina Stevenson and Andrew Harrison join me to talk about all of the amazing Star Wars experience on the Disney Wish, Disney's incredible cruise ship. So pull up a chair, grab your favorite mug, and let's have Coffee with Kenobi. Joining us today for a cup of coffee or whatever beverage they want to enjoy, wherever they are in the world, we have two returning guests to Coffee with Kenobi. We're going to talk all about the Star Wars events and experiences on the Disney Wish. I listened to the last show and I thought, I didn't talk about Star Wars on the Disney Wish recap. So I had to bring in two members that cruise with Kenobi. They are longtime veterans of our CWK travel family. First, from Australia, Christina Stevenson. Christina, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on, Dan. It's a dreary Monday morning here for me, so I literally am having a coffee with Kenobi.
Hey, I love it. And you were on the show last week. We recorded you on the ship, but this is your first time doing it from your home studio, so we're so happy to have you.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Our other guest, he's been on, but I looked at the schedule and I thought, wow, it's been a while. It's been too long. So we had to bring him back. Also a veteran of the Coffee with Kenobi travel family, Mr. Andrew Harrison. Andrew, welcome back, bud.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, it's good to be back. It's been a couple years since I've been on the show proper.
Yeah,
I think
we had
since
you on.
the Halcyon, I think, was the last time I was on.
I think that's right. And I know you came on when that video game came on. You and Ross came on and talked about that X-Wing. I can't remember the name of that game.
Squadrons, yeah.
Cool. Well, we're going to talk about the Star Wars experiences on the Disney Wish. The Disney Wish, of course, is the cruise line that the Coffee with Kenobi travel family went on thanks to the incredible help of MEI Travel and MouseFan Travel. But there's some cool Star Wars things on the Disney Wish that are so unique. Christina, before we even talk about what it was like on the ship, what were you most excited about Star Wars-wise on the Disney Wish?
It had to have been the Hyperspace Lounge, of course. I think from being on the Halcyon and having the that amazing space of the Sublight Lounge where you could go and have such amazing theming with respect to drinks and an area to hang out. There was the area to place a buck. It was just, I was really excited to return to that kind of feeling in the Hyperspace Lounge on the Disney Wish.
Absolutely understandable. And Andrew, what about you? You brought not only your wife, who of course is also a veteran of the CWK travel family, but you brought your 3 children, and none of you, if I'm correct, had ever been on a Disney cruise ship. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. This was our first cruise period. The obvious one, I think, like Christina was saying, is the Hyperspace Lounge. But like you said, I did bring my kids, and I was really excited to hear about the experiences that they had down in the cargo bay in the kids area of the ship.
Right. And I also briefly experienced that. Well, we'll talk about that. Before I got on the ship, I was certainly excited to see the Hyperspace Lounge. I didn't really think it was going to meet the incredible levels of detail and immersion that the Sublight Lounge did, but I wanted to see it. I wanted to see that massive portal that goes to light speed and takes you all these different planets. So I was very excited about that. But I wanted to see if there are any other little things regarding Star Wars on the Disney Wish. And there was one that was kind of a surprise for me. And I'm sure we'll all talk about this. They have a massive screen. It's called, what is it? Tunnel vision, splash vision. What is that?
Funnel
vision.
Funnel vision. Yes.
Because it's on the funnel.
Exactly. Duh. So yes, it's funnel vision. And they're always showing movies. And no matter what time of day, the brightest sun, the darkest evenings, the picture's still incredible. And so they show movies. They show Disney movies. And you look on the schedule on the app, and lo and behold, I think it was the second evening that we were on the ship. It said at 10:45 p.m., The Empire Strikes Back is playing. So I quickly jumped on my phone, sent a message to everybody. Of course, half the people that we traveled with already knew this anyway because their Star Wars spider senses were also tingling. And we got to watch The Empire Strikes Back on funnel vision at the top of the ship. Andrew, what was that like for you?
Nothing says a good time like Star Wars on the big screen. And then you take Star Wars on the big screen and you put that big screen on a really big ship. It was magical because it was so cool because it was so late, which granted, I wasn't able to stay for the whole thing. I turned into a pumpkin around midnight. But it was great because it was so dark out and there was nothing around you because we were on the 11th deck. There's a couple decks, above it, but nothing really, above your head, I guess. So like you could like go from the screen and you could like lean back and look up and you're looking at the night sky. And I mean, it was epic. It was epic.
Christina?
Well, I didn't actually go to the Empire Strikes Back because it was very late for me after 2 big days. And we'd already had, I think, 4 days in the parks before coming onto the Wish. So I was fairly tired. So I didn't quite make it. But I know Kendra and my friend Kendra that I traveled with her daughter Aurora, they definitely made it for at least a little bit of the start. And yeah, I know that they were really jazzed. They loved it because both of them are very big Star Wars fans as well. So it was a really special moment for them just to sit there with everybody and see like that opening scroll on that giant funnel vision screen.
And I'm glad you brought that up because if this were like, if I saw that The Empire Strikes Back was playing outside when I was at home and it was 10:45, I would have thrown up my white flag and said, no, thanks. That is way too late for me because there's a lot you do on the Wish. If you do the land sea experience like we all did and go to Disney World beforehand, you're going to be exhausted, right? And I had said before the movie even started, look, as soon as Luke leaves Hoth, I am out of there because I want to see the beginning. I want to experience it. But I knew that it was going to be a long day the next day. So I just wanted to get the intro. Andrew was kind enough to take a picture of me while Chewbacca was in the background. It's actually a true sentence. There were, I think about half of us were there. Let's see. Terry was there, Liberty, Cato, Deb. Who am I missing?
Michelle was there with me.
Michelle was there for sure. And then Mason was for like 2 seconds. Then he went back to the edge to hang out with his friends. So that was fine, but it was pretty surreal. I kept looking. I found myself looking more. I did this when I went to see The Empire Strikes Back at a drive-in during COVID, but I found myself looking at the screen, like the edges of the screen, and looking around me more than I even watched the movie, because I kept thinking, I can't believe I'm watching this on a cruise ship. It was a pretty cool experience. And there's like, are there guarantees that you're going to see a Star Wars movie on a Disney cruise ship? No, there aren't. You don't even know what movies are going to be playing until you start using the ship's Wi-Fi once you board the ship proper. But that was a fun little experience. Also, before you go on the ship, there are certain gifts that you can purchase that can be sent and will be waiting for you in your stateroom. There are only a couple of Star Wars ones. Did any of you take advantage of any of that?
No, I thought about it just because it would have been a nice little special surprise for the kids. But I opted to spend my money elsewhere, cruise related.
Right, and there were plenty of opportunities for that. Surprisingly, I didn't see, and definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't see any Star Wars souvenirs in any of the gift shops. But
I think there was in like the Mickey's main sale maybe, like, but very limited. It was
all those little
limited.
non-posable figures, basically little statues.
Yeah. It was funny. Lucas, our youngest, saw those, and that's what he wanted to spend his souvenir money on. And I said, just so you know, it's got 0 points of articulation. And he was like, oh, well, I don't want that. And then immediately put it back on the shelf. I was like, proud parenting moment.
I was going to say, that is very good parenting. There was those. I forgot about those. And there was a Grogu shirt that was related.
Oh, that was so cute, but it was only in kids sizes. Otherwise, I totally would have bought one.
I know, they were pretty fun. But there were two small little like blue cups that were outdoor cups, and a bottle that goes with them. And they were, actually, I have it right here if I can reach it. See how long my cord will go.
Oh, did you see in the Lunar libations near the cinemas, they actually had little like Jawa popcorn buckets?
Oh, they did, and they also had the Tauntaun popcorn buckets.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
All right, so this is it. This is an audio podcast, so obviously most people won't do it, but I'll post a picture. But you've got the bottle.
Oh, that is quite cool.
It's got the ship on it. It's got a Millennium Falcon on the bottom. It's got an X-Wing on the top, and then the nautical compass, and it's got half the Imperial signal and half the Rebel signal, and then it says Star Wars, and it's got a rainbow, and it is a nice blue tall cup that you can pour your drinks into. Right, a nice metal cup with a stopper in it, and then it comes with two little glasses or cups. One is the Rebel symbol, and one is the Imperial. And on the back, it says Star Wars Disney Cruise Line. So I was super excited about that.
I'm feeling a little like I got a little bit of FOMO going on.
Well, you know what?
They were really cool.
You know what? That just means you're going to have to book another cruise with MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel and get one.
Guess, yeah.
I mean, that's it. So that was pretty cool. But there are a few other bonus things. On any Disney cruise, there's bingo and there's trivia. So there were 3 different moments where you could play Star Wars trivia. The first night they had Star Wars trivia. The second day, during the day, they had Star Wars Advanced trivia. And then the day after that, they had another edition of Star Wars trivia. The first night, it was in Tiana's, which is right. It's like in the center of the ship next to the Hyperspace Lounge. And a bunch of us played trivia the first night. And I'm not ashamed to say that we lost. The gentleman's name was Josh. He had just graduated from college. I talked to him a little bit. I missed 2 out of 20. Andrew, were you the same?
I wasn't actually at that first one.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I think it was Liberty. I think Liberty only missed 1, didn't she?
That's right.
I think she beat you.
She did. And I missed a question about, was it Ezra or Zeb? It was who tells Kanan that they took a TIE fighter. And I started overthinking it. Imagine that. And thinking about all these. And I was thinking of the first 4 shorts that aired before they even dropped an episode of season 1 of Star Wars Rebels. So I was thinking about that.
That's the problem of too much knowledge.
I guess. But it was fun. It was so much fun. So much fun to play. Everybody was excited. The host was fantastic and dynamic. And I was excited that he didn't quite know how to pronounce all the Star Wars names and planets and languages. So I kept interjecting, and Deanna said, "Oh boy." But it was fun. It was fun. And then the kid who won, I went over and talked to me. It was fun. But the next day, it was in Keg and Compass, which is one of the lounges. And it was set for 18 and up. I think I was the first one. I got there an hour before. And then they let us play in teams this time. So it was Andrew and me. Even though we were all on a team, basically you and I shared our answers when we needed to. We did try to freelance. But Andrew, talk to us about what the advanced trivia was like.
Yeah, well, I was a little nervous because we had our 2 youngest kids with us, and I didn't realize it was 18 plus. And so we just walked in there, and then the host was like, this is actually for 18 plus. And I was like, oh, okay. She said, that's okay. They can come in as long as they're like not participating. I was like, well, then what? I don't really understand why it needed to be 18 plus, but it was really fun that because initially we weren't planning on going in on teams. We were just going to be each man for himself. And then once it kind of opened up that they were going to allow teams, I think it was we pretty quickly shifted gears, and it was a lot of fun because then we could kind of talk to each other about the questions and not just like share answers per se, but have a bit more fun with the questions that were being asked and the answers that we were jokingly throwing out as obvious incorrect answers. That was a lot of fun. And again, the host had trouble with some of the names, which is to be expected, I think. Not everybody can write a Star Wars book. So it wasn't too surprising. But it was a lot of fun. And I believe that same gentleman who won the first round was there for the second round, right?
He was. Josh was there. There were 20 questions. Final tally, Josh got 15. By the way, we'll just say it. Who won, Andrew?
We did.
We won. We sure did. And the host had told me that the previous record was 11 out of 20. I got 19 right.
Yep.
Independently, I got 11 out of 20, so maybe I don't feel so bad about my trivia skills now.
You said you tied the record. There was one question that I had to ask Andrew about. So Andrew helped me on one of those, so he gets the assist. And then the final one, the question was, what actor was the voice of Gurindin? And I had no clue. And the answer was John Wayne. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea who that character even was. I'm like, who is this?
I could not think of the answer to that, and I will never forget the answer to that now.
I know, same. Did I help you with a couple?
Yeah, I think the first one, and then the one where the answer was Riva,
the Inquisitor.
I could not remember her name to save my life.
Okay, yeah. Riva's, yeah. Oh, good. So that was very fun. We got our little medals, and
that were made out of rubber.
Like Tigger's bottom, I believe.
Right.
Yeah. So they stayed on par with the Disney thing. I went over and talked to Josh about it. Apparently he did go the third day. I didn't go that day.
I didn't either.
And he said he won, so I was happy for him. So shout out to you, Josh, if you're listening, buddy. It was great competing with you. That was a lot of fun. Are there any other Star Wars experiences besides the cargo bay and the Hyperspace Lounge that we're missing?
Yeah, there were a couple that I was kind of surprised popped up. There was of course, there was the character meet and greet that happened down in the cargo bay, but it was a special time where they actually opened up a back door to the cargo bay. It was kind of neat. You went down by the kids area, and then there was a little hallway that went back behind where the stairs were. That was this really cool mural of
Yes.
all these Star Wars characters. And then there was a door that they opened up and you walked in there to the cargo bay, and there was like a photo meet and greet with Rey and Chewbacca. And that was really cool.
And you guys did that, didn't you?
Yep. Yeah. It was great because there was a line. And so the line went like right along the wall inside the cargo bay. And so I was over there being the kid, flipping all the switches, pushing all the buttons. My kids were rolling their eyes at me. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Do you have photos? Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to put them up.
Yeah. I'll have to share them in the group for sure.
That would be great. Christina, are there any that you thought of that I missed?
I think there was just that one other photo op, which I didn't go to, but I think Terry did. And that was the lightsaber photo op in the Hyperspace Lounge. I think that's the only other one that I could think
What
of.
was that like? Because Deanna mentioned that to me, and I said, well, I don't have a lightsaber with me, so I don't know if I can.
No, and I didn't go, so I'm not sure, but Terry would be able to answer that question.
Yeah, we did that as well.
Good.
And it was really cool. There was a photographer in there, one of the Disney photographers they're always excellent. And they actually had 2 lightsabers there that you could use. That one was green bladed, one was blue. And he would walk you through all these different poses that you do. There was a couple where he would hold onto the blade of the lightsaber and have you hold your 2 hands out, one on top of each other with the lightsaber handle in between. So it looks like you're using the force to hold the lightsaber. And it was a lot of fun. Of course, just the ambiance of being in there with the hyperspace stuff going on behind you on the screen, and just being in that space added to the experience for sure.
I should have did it then. Rats.
Yeah.
Well,
it was cool.
I guess I'll have to go back. Which I'm more than happy to do. So let's talk about the cargo bay. Okay. I definitely went there because before the ship disembarks, you can go to any of the kids' areas, just to see what they're like and take pictures and kind of get a sense of them. Christina, did you take advantage of that, or did you even know that was a possibility?
I didn't know that was a possibility, so I didn't realize. So I didn't actually get to see the cargo bay. And I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know if I exactly. I don't think Kendra saw it either.
Oh wow! Well,
because she would have definitely taken photos if she had.
I was going to say I took a lot of photos. I'm going to post them later on Coffee with Kenobi social media pages. But Andrew, talk to us about the cargo bay, your experiences both as a fan and as a parent.
I went down during the open house when we first got there. It's really just a chance for parents and kids to see the space, get comfortable with the space, ask any questions about the service that's provided and stuff. And then you can kind of walk around and you can flip switches and push buttons, but nothing was really activated. Like you couldn't do the kind of experiences that the kids were going to get to do, which I was a little disappointed in. Our oldest, who is 13 and is too old for that area of the ship, was really disappointed that she wasn't able to do that. But there were all the little animatronic creatures were in their cages. They were making their noises and moving around a little bit, which was neat. But it was really just, as far as the open house goes, just a walkthrough and ask questions. And you could there were crew members down there that would take your picture if you wanted them to. So we got a couple family pictures down there. And then our kids, our 2 youngest, I tried to get out of them what they actually did down there, and they didn't have a whole lot of feedback for me, which was a little disappointing for me. So I actually had to go out and look it up myself to see what exactly they could do. And a lot of it seems to be like an augmented reality type thing where you've got an iPad and you hold it up and you can kind of see the world through the camera lens, and then they put augmented reality on top of it. And you go through and you can feed the different creatures and stuff. But there was one mission, creature challenge, I think is what it was called, where there's actually like a whole storyline that happens, and you're part of this expedition that's traveling to Batuu, and hijinks ensue, and Rey and Chewie, who were being smuggled to Batuu, show up to help out. Rathtars get loose, a whole big thing. But it sounded really cool. But my kids just were. My daughter was off in the princess area, and my son was in the Marvel area most of the time. It sounded like, unfortunately. So I had the proud parenting moment, and then when we got back and heard that they didn't really do the Star Wars, that was a bit of a downer.
Well, but they were still there. They were still within the presence of the fun. That was one of the first things I made sure to do because I knew that would not be an option for me once we left port. One of the ways you can go down the stairs and you can go into the kids area, but from the main hallway, they have a slide. So Deanna walked down the stairs. Mason walked down the stairs. And I went down the slide.
See, and when we went, the slide wasn't even open.
Really?
Yeah,
I think I was one of the first.
Early, and it wasn't even open yet.
I said, "Can I go down the slide?" And then Mason did end up going down the slide. It was awesome, just going down the slide and just being right in there. I walked all through the cargo bay. There was hardly anybody there when I was there. I took pictures of the Lothcat and the Porg. The display and the attention to detail very much remind me of something from the lower levels of the Halcyon or from the marketplace in Galaxy's Edge on Batuu and Black Spire Outpost. Just, again, that wonderful attention to detail. You feel like you were immersively inside the world, the way it was lit. There were a lot of great picture opportunities, which I will certainly do. And then I did see the mural that you're talking about. I took a long video of that. And it's absolutely gorgeous. Just really, really fun, I would imagine. And there was a moment when like older kids could go down into the cargo bay for like an hour or two, or go into the Marvel area for an hour or two, which was really, really fun. So there are a lot of fun opportunities for all ages. But we're going to talk now about the main event, which is the Hyperspace Lounge. So many things to love about the Hyperspace Lounge. Christina, I think you were one of the first to go. You and Kendra like scoped it out right away and got the details for us. Tell us a little about the Hyperspace Lounge and how it kind of met your expectations.
Yeah, so sorry. Yes, Kendra and I went there pretty quickly after getting onto the boat. Not immediately, but almost. And I loved just walking in through the little entrance. They've got like a little alcove that you walk through before you get to the door, that you push the green button on and the door slides open with the Star Wars noises. And so immediately you're already feeling like excited, like this is going to be amazing. And you walk in and the setting and the decor is all very reminiscent of the Sublight Lounge on the Halcyon. And it does kind of, for anybody that's done that, it does kind of bring you back to that a little bit, which is quite nice, considering we'll never have the opportunity to do that again. And then the main feature, I think, of the Hyperspace Lounge is that large, beautiful display that's on the main wall behind the bar, that has basically the portal to the galaxy, where you see, 1 minute you're over Coruscant and you're seeing the little Star Tours transport flying through, or the first image that was on the screen when Kendra and I walked in was the Halcyon.
Oh my gosh.
So it was just like a little bit heartbreaking, actually. And then you'll go into hyperspace, and if you have a magic band on, your magic band will light up every time you go into hyperspace. And I had noticed that when you were over like Mustafar or other sort of more dark aligned planets, it'll be red. Your magic band flashed red, and then every time you went into hyperspace it would be like that mottled blue purple that it would flash. So I really enjoyed that interactivity between the magic band and the digital display that was happening in the background. I thought that was really cool, because you don't really get that sort of interactivity anywhere else with your magic band. So I thought that was really fun. And then, of course, it being a bar, you can't go past the drinks. And I think one of the really nice things about the Hyperspace Lounge was, although the servers and the wait staff weren't necessarily themed or in Star Wars character, like they were at the Halcyon or like they are on Batuu, they did provide an element of theatre when they were making the drinks and, you know, the little smoke-filled bubbles and things like that, that I thought brought a little bit of a touch of magic to the experience as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Andrew?
Yeah. I mean, everything that Christina said is spot on. Walking in there, you definitely get vibes of the Halcyon. The thing that really got my attention was, like you were saying, Christy, when you come up to that door, and like it's not like any other bar or lounge on the Wish, right? Like that door is shut. There's a little sign outside that said the Hyperspace Lounge, and there's a little display case that's got, you know, some of the glassware and stuff that they serve their drinks in. But the door is closed, and there's this little blue square next to the door that you have to actually push in order to get the door to open, and then it just goes whoosh straight across, just like you would expect it to in a Star Wars movie. And when my family first went to the Hyperspace Lounge, and our oldest went up, and she didn't know what she was doing. She just walked up and saw this blue button and pushed it, and that door went across, and the look on her face of just absolute surprise and joy and awe just was amazing. And it was one of the highlights of the trip for me, was seeing her reaction, because in that moment she was in a Star Wars movie and she could not believe that had just happened. Yeah, and then in the sounds that go on in there, very immersive. When it goes to hyperspace, you can, I don't know if you really could, or if it was just my imagination, but you could almost feel like a vibration under your seat of like the ship like vibrating as those hyperdrive engines kicked in and took you across the galaxy. The lighting in there is absolutely phenomenal. The drinks were really tasty. I had the Chancellor, I think is what I had. There's some non-alcoholic drinks as well that my kids ordered, and then decided that they didn't really want to partake in. And the server was really great. He did not charge us for one of them because it did not get touched at all. But yeah, it's a fantastic space. I just wish that it was bigger and that the entire cruise ship was themed that way.
Oh boy,
we've had that experience though, haven't we?
Exactly my point.
You know, I love that. I don't know what I expected. I think I was so excited about just the ship in general that I've kind of forgotten about the Hyperspace Lounge, which seems hard to believe. But I went in there, and I really I'm the kind of guy that I like prolong the experience, because I like the anticipation almost more than living it. So I went in the first day, but I waited a little bit. I went in there, I pushed the green button. There's this beautiful dark little hallway, and they've got this big case of 4 shelves I took a lot of pictures of that show some of the drink offerings. It's got a little Grogu in there as well. And then there's a menu on the left side, or just sort of an advertisement really. But you push that green button and the door goes like you both mentioned. And you walk in there and you're just instantly basking in that atmosphere. There's nothing like a Star Wars bar. You know, the CWK Lounge is the pinnacle. Oga's Cantina is great, although it's pretty loud. And then you've got the Hyperspace Lounge. I had heard that the Hyperspace Lounge is really, really small. And it is. But I will say, in our Disney Wish, I had many cast members on that ship told me repeatedly how many people were on the ship. It seemed like there were even more than usual. I got into the Hyperspace Lounge every time I wanted. I never had to wait in line. I probably went in 4 or 5 times. I never had any problems getting in. There are a bunch of very, very large booths to sit in, which was great because we had a party of like 19 people with us. So that was never an issue. The staff was very attentive and friendly. And while, as you both mentioned, you're not pretending or imagining that you're in the Star Wars world or realm, it's still a Disney service, and there's still joy there. My magic band, I'm glad you brought that up, Christina. My Magic Band, the Magic Band Plus, went crazier in the Hyperspace Lounge than anywhere in any of the parks, anywhere on the ship. And even during the fireworks celebration, one of the last nights on the boat itself, it was constantly changing color based on if you were in hyperspace or whatever the planets were, as you both mentioned. And that really adds to the fun. There were a couple of drinks there. The one I tried the most was the Batuian Harvest Brew. It is the description on the menu is a popular drink enjoyed by local Batuians and travelers during the annual Batuian Harvest Festival. The Harvest Brew celebrates the beautiful bounty that the planet enjoys every harvest season. Picture a sour, kind of pineapple-y, tropical tasting beer, and that's what it was like for me. And I loved it. I like that kind of a thing. Everything was very beautifully themed. You can buy glasses that you will recognize from the Sublight Lounge. I will say the glasses you buy on the Disney Wish on the bottom are labeled Hyperspace Lounge, but it's still the same glasses. It's still the same atmosphere. I took a lot of great pictures and videos. One of the other highlights is the servers come out with this. It looks like a small little blaster or a little gun, and it squeezes out this big, massive white bubble. And the bubble grows and grows and grows. And then when it pops, it just turns into like this little smoky substance. And they put on all the drinks. It's not like you have to order a certain drink to get it. I mean, they put on everything. I believe, Christina, when you were in there, didn't they make like a Princess Leia one for you? You had a big bubble and then two bubbles.
They did, yes. They put, so like she was lovely. She was in there a few times that I was in there, the server. And when she realized that we were all Star Wars fans, she made the special like bubble with the two little buns on the side. It was very cute.
It was fun, and I know didn't get to go down and make it, but several members of our CWK travel party, I went down there and played Sabacc. They brought the Sabacc deck from the Halcyon itself, and by all accounts, if you're not able to get on the Halcyon, and yes, for now, that is certainly the case, but it is a lovely close second, I would say. I guess I might put this above Oga's Cantina simply because it's a little more quiet and more intimate. I mean, it's not quiet. Let's not get crazy because it is Star Wars, and you go to hyperspace every 7 minutes, and I think there are over 40 different Star Wars ships that you can see. But the picture, the screen itself is so incredibly clear. It's beautifully clear, and I also was fortunate to see the Halcyon in there, and it goes right up there by the screen, and it's like a warm Star Wars hug to see that thing.
Yeah, and I think one of the things you mentioned was how like it was really easy to get in there.
Yeah,
and I remember when the Wish first launched, all the stories that I was hearing was that they capped it, like they had to like there was a wait list to get in there. So I was thinking that we may not get in there as often as we wanted to, but it really wasn't an issue. And I was actually surprised that like the first time we walked right past it, because there's no like real obvious signage in the hallway that it's on. You don't see the sign. There's this tiny little hallway off of the main walkway, and that's where the sign is in that hallway. So unless you know to look for it, you may not even realize that it's there.
It's true. It's true. And it's kind of like some aspects of Galaxy's Edge too. Like there's some things like you wouldn't know to go in unless you just happen to explore, which is an interesting kind of a paradox. Ultimately, though, if I was going to give the Star Wars experiences on the Wish a grade, I'd give them an A. I would give it an A. There was a lot of what would make it an A plus if there were more parts of the ship that had Star Wars, but I guess that's probably not going to happen. It sure was a wonderful experience, and I will say that one of the reasons it was so much fun for me, because Deanna and I went in there alone. We were in there with a lot of us went in there at the same time several times. I went in there by myself just to get some pictures and video and things like that. The more people you have with you on the ship, whether it's the Disney Wish or anything else, the more fun it had. One of the best parts about the Wish for me was truly spending time with the two of you and your families and everyone that came with us. That made it really, really special.
I agree. For me, as well. It was just everything was so much more fun, so much more meaningful, because we could share those experiences together. And for me, that was certainly the most special part of the whole trip, just being able to see all of you again for the first time in 2 years, face to face.
Yeah, and as first time cruisers, it made the experience a lot easier for Michelle and I, because we didn't have any idea what to expect. We just knew that we were going to know that there were people on the ship who we had something in common with, not just Star Wars, but also the Halcyon trip that we all went on, and the dinners where we all sat down together every night. It was fantastic watching all of our kids get together and hang out and have fun and laugh together, watching the servers give people lemons in their Coke for some strange reason, and hearing the stories behind that. Like, there was so many moments where it was, the trip would have been great if it had just been my family, but it was excellent because we went with a group.
Here. Yes. And thanks to MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel, they made sure that not only did we get to have the same dinners together, but we all got to sit together every single time. So we were guaranteed to have time hanging out. And it's very, very leisurely too. You don't feel like you're rushed in and out by any stretch of the imagination. We always made sure to change who we were sitting by so we could just really kind of get to know everybody. And then Kendra coined the kids the Coffee with Kenobi kids, which I really like that alliteration there as well. It was just, even seeing you both now, it just really brings back memories. It only been like a little over a week since we were on it, but memories that last a lifetime.
Listening to Coffee with Kenobi, you are, with Dan Z, the podcast you're looking for. This is
Christina, Andrew, so grateful to have you both back on Coffee with Kenobi. Christina, any last minute things you'd like to share? And also, please let everybody know where they can reach out to you if they want to ask you a question or just say hello.
So you can always reach me through the CWK Cafe, because I'm, not often there. I'm not there as much as I would like, but I can always be reached through there. I think that I would just want to say thanks to Heather, who works for Becky, because she was my main point of contact anyway for booking this trip. And coming from Australia, having to try and navigate or book all of those things on my own would be very challenging. So Heather just made every aspect of the trip planning so seamless. So I just really wanted to put a big shout out as a big thank you to her. And I did luckily get to meet Becky very briefly at Star Wars Celebrations this year. So thank you to her and her team for helping make this a reality for us, because it was really amazing.
Wonderful. Andrew.
I'm also available in the cafe. If anybody wants to ask questions about the trip or Star Wars or anything, really, you can reach me there. And I would say, for closing thoughts, I would say if with a capital I, Coffee with Kenobi does any trips in the future, and anyone listening, right? If anyone here is listening and is a little trepidatious about big trips, traveling with a group is the way to go, especially traveling with a group that that you've got something in common. And just like, there were little things, we all got blessed with these giant magnets that we put on our doors to our staterooms. And my wife and I met this gentleman in we did an old-fashioned tasting, and we met this guy there, and we ran into him later, and he was, we ended up telling him about how we were on the ship with Coffee with Kenobi, and he's like, "Oh, I've seen so many of those magnets on these doors." And so then we opened up to him about the community and told him about the podcast, and he was talking about his Star Wars fandom, and it was just a great way to even not just meet the people in our group, but it was a way for us to meet other people on the ship as well. So I would say if/when Coffee with Kenobi does anything in the future and you've been thinking about maybe doing it, I just say go for it and do it.
And honestly, being around me for an extended amount of time, I'm not so bad. I grow on you.
Yeah.
You know, that makes me so happy. I love that he had that reaction. We had several cast members who were asking about the magnets. There were Coffee with Kenobi gift bags that everyone got. But I think the highlight of that was the magnet, which we can certainly thank our dear friend Terry for.
Yeah, my son, when he pulled that thing out of the bag, his eyes went really wide. He's like, "This is a giant magnet!" And then he read the whole, it was like a scroll, like an opening scroll from the movies, except it was about our trip. And he stood there in line, and we were waiting to meet one of the characters, and he stood there and he read the whole thing, and he was just so excited to say, "This is a giant magnet, Dad."
And just like that, our journey through the galaxy for today has come to a close. So many wonderful memories. We're very happy to share them with you. I want to thank each of you for joining me here at Coffee with Kenobi, the place for thoughtful Star Wars conversation pairs perfectly with your favorite cup of coffee. Whether you're on the go, relaxing at home, or sipping cap at your favorite corner of the galaxy, I'm truly grateful you chose to spend part of your day with me. For all things Star Wars, news, reviews, videos, and more, head to our home base, coffeewithkenobi.com. And a special thank you to our official travel partner, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. Looking to plan your next magical vacation to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, or even a Disney cruise? Want to explore Galaxy's Edge or attend Star Wars Celebration? Becky Mankin and her team will get you there with a no-cost, no-obligation quote and the kind of peace of mind we all appreciate. Learn more at coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefantravel. As Christina and Andrew just mentioned, don't forget to join the CWK Cafe on Facebook at coffeewithkenobi.com/community. Our family-friendly, spoiler-free group for all Star Wars thoughts, comments, and conversation. This podcast that you are listening to is possible thanks to the incredible support of the CWK Alliance. Want to help keep the show brewing? For as little as $1 a month, you can join the CWK Alliance and get access to CWK Pour-Over, our exclusive weekly audio and video podcast. Learn more at coffeewithkenobi.com/CWK Alliance. And know this, 10% of your monthly support goes directly to the St. Jude Children's Hospital. If you'd like to connect, you can email me at danz@coffeewithkenobi.com. Follow me on X, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can follow Coffee with Kenobi all across social media, X, Instagram, Threads, Pinterest, Blue Sky, and give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/coffeewithkenobi. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel where you'll find over 700 videos, including past live shows, events, and this podcast. And if you have a second, please take a moment to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It truly helps more Star Wars fans find our little corner of the galaxy. If you need a speaker for your next event, visit danzmedia.com. I'd love to discuss mythology, leadership, storytelling, or create something tailored to your audience. Grab your official Coffee with Kenobi gear at coffeewithkenobi.com/shop and show your support in style. Thanks for joining us here on Coffee with Kenobi, where Star Wars fans come together to think, learn, and share the galaxy we all love. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share the show with your fellow Star Wars friends. As I just mentioned, you can find us on social media or visit coffeewithkenobi.com for articles, merch, and more ways to connect. Until next time, I'm Dan Zare, and this is the podcast you're looking for.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here. Move along.